Welcome to the Genealogy Gems podcast, providing quick and innovative ways to make the absolute most out of your research time and creative ideas for sharing and displaying your family history. I'm your host, Louise Cooke. Hello and welcome to Genealogy Gems podcast episode number 128. I'm back from London, where I gave some presentations at the Who Do You Think You Are live event, and it was, once again, a huge affair with loads of exhibitors and classes and enthusiastic participants. It was really a lot of fun. I taught two classes. Ultimate Google Search Strategies and Google Earth for Genealogy was actually the Family History Tours class. And I was thrilled that they sold out and we had overflowing folks standing around the classroom areas. So that was really neat. I was quite surprised. I saw some old friends and some new ones, and several of you traveled a ways to get there and came up and introduced yourselves, and that was absolutely by far the highlight of the event for me. It was so nice to meet so many of you. And if you'd like to learn more about what went on at this year's show, I can recommend a couple of genealogy blogs out there. Let's see, Andrew Martin's History Repeating blog at historyrepeating.org.uk, and his article is called Who Do You Think You Are? Live 2012. And Mark Olsen of MyHeritage and World Vital Records, he posted a recap at the MyHeritage blog. It's at myheritage.com, and his article is called Who Do You Think You Are? Live 2012 MyHeritage Highlights. And, you know, I seem to be on the same travel schedule with Mark because about 4 days after I returned from London, I flew over to Salt Lake City to be a presenter at the Utah Genealogical Association's Family History Fair. It was in Bountiful, Utah, and Mark was there too. So I'll have a link in the show notes to his recap article about that event as well. It's on the World Vital Records blog, and he entitled it A Day Just for Me, South Davis Family History Fair. I think he wasn't there in his official business capacity. It was just a day for him to attend genealogy classes, and he even snapped a little picture of me right before my keynote. So you'll see that on his blog. But the London trip was also very special to me because my daughter Vienna was able to join me, and this was her first trip overseas. And of course, we did all the touristy stuff. We did the city bus tour, and they even had a little addition to it where we got to go on a boat down the Thames River, so you could see some of the architecture that you can really only see from the shoreline. We also, of course, did a whole day at the Tower of London, and we went to see a play at Piccadilly Circus, and we even found time to visit Harrods department store. But of course, after we took a peek at the prices in Harrods, for example, like $800 purses and $500 ties, we picked ourselves up off the floor after we fainted, and we made a beeline to the gift shop where they had stuff a little more in our price range. We found a few gifts for family and friends, so that was pretty fun. It's an incredible store. I've never seen anything like it, and I just had to see it for myself. But I pretty much expected like Victoria Beckham to come waltzing through the aisles or something. I mean, it was so chic and just amazing. So if you're ever in London, you got to go check out Harrods, and they have a couple of little restaurants there too, which are just fabulous. But I think my favorite part about kind of the whole trip to London, of course, is just seeing the architecture. You know, there is nothing like it in the States, and Vienna and I just soaked it in. It's really hard to believe that the whole trip is over, but I look forward to going back. Elsa Churchill and her team from the Society of Genealogists in the UK really do a brilliant job organizing the classes for Who Do You Think You Are? Live. And Elsa actually saved me. She saved my first class when I got up there and I realized after all this planning, all this meticulous planning I did, I had the wrong travel adapter plug for my laptop power cord. So I couldn't plug it into the British outlets. Nothing strikes terror in the heart of a presenter than a last-minute glitch like that. But, you know, Elsa was right there and had a backup computer and a big smile, and she just made it all so easy. So thank you so much to her. And one of the companies who had a big presence at Who Do You Think You Are Live was also a major player at the RootsTech conference in February 2012. And I'm really excited to bring you an interview that I conducted at RootsTech in today's show. I've got Chris Vanderkoel, the CEO of brightsolid. Now, several companies have been aggressively going after the U.S. digital records market lately, and you're going to hear from Chris firsthand about what brightsolid is up to and what you can look forward to in the future. And speaking of RootsTech, of course, I saw both of them at RootsTech, and that's where we recorded the interviews. The organizers have been busy recently, and they uploaded the presentations that were videotaped throughout the conference, and they're available now to watch for free online at the RootsTech website. So this is a great opportunity to experience the conference if you weren't able to make it there in person. Just head over to rootstech.org. Now, right now, you'll find them listed on the homepage, but I think eventually they'll be filed somewhere else on the website. But you'll find some terrific presenters listed there, and I'm certainly looking forward to viewing them since I was really busy at the conference. I didn't get a chance to sit in on any classes, so this is great for me. And I have to say, I'm really honored that my Genealogy Podcasts and Blogs 101 class is included in this group, so you can watch it there online. You know, I really enjoyed introducing more people to genealogy podcasts and blogs. I've heard from a lot of folks that this really opened their eyes to a medium that they didn't realize was out there for them, to enjoy for free. In fact, I've got a couple of emails here. Now, let's see here. Debbie wrote in, she says, wow. All I can say is, wow, I'm a 52-year-old mother of 4 in Bountiful, Utah. I've been watching the RootsTech live presentations online, and I've just finished watching yours. It was amazing and inspiring. Oh my gosh, Debbie, thank you. She says, I consider myself somewhat tech savvy, but have veered away from blogs. Just the sound of the word blog infers something that will weigh you down. That's kind of true. It just kind of have that feel, doesn't it? But she says, but after your presentation, I'm anxious to try iGoogle and add blogs and podcasts tailored to my interests. I had no idea. And thanks for pointing out the Google blog search option. All the genealogy-focused search options now available through Google are exciting. I am hoping you will add all of your RootsTech presentations to your podcast. They sound fascinating. Well, thank you so much, Debbie. Actually, the only one that got recorded was the Genealogy Podcasts and Blogs 101 session. My other ones weren't recorded, but it's just so cool to realize that there were people there in person, and then there were people watching online live, and then watching weeks and months later on the website. I love the way that technology makes learning so much more accessible, and it puts the viewer and the listener in the driver's seat so that you can do it at your convenience, which is the best part, of course. And during that recorded presentation, I encouraged viewers to get their own genealogy blog started so that they can get information out there that might help them make contact with other genealogists who might be researching the same family line. And Carol wrote me shortly after the conference to let me know that she did just that. She says, hello, my name is Carol, and I was able to enjoy your presentation from home online with the recent RootsTech 2012 conference. It was my very first time for this conference. You mentioned in your talk about Genealogy Podcasts and Blogs 101 that if there was anyone who was new to blogging and they had just started to write their very own family history blog, to write you and let you know about it, and that you would mention it in your next podcast. Well, my blog is called Skeletons in the Closet, and it's on Google's Blogspot. The URL address is cgfamilyhistory.blogspot.com. I very much appreciate any help or advice you may offer, and I have opened it up for anyone to read. Thank you so much. Well, Carol, that is so great, and good for you for putting it out there. I was part of a panel at the Who Do You Think You Are Live conference, and we were talking about social media. And I was really a little bit surprised that so many people were still so hesitant to open their blogs publicly. And to me, that's just like bait. All that text that you're putting on your genealogy blog about your family history research, that's kind of bait. You put it out there and the search engine finds it when other people are searching those families, and they can find you and they can read your blog and you can connect and share what you've got. I mean, to me, I think it's missing so much of the advantage if you don't make it public. So good for you, Carol, for doing that. And again, her blog is cgfamilyhistory.blogspot.com. She calls it Skeletons in the Closet. And of course, I'll have a link in the show notes so that you can check out her blog and perhaps get inspired to do the same thing. And Marlene also wrote in about RootsTech. She says, the RootsTech conference was so awesome. I learned so much about podcasts, and I'm willing to try it out. But first, I am the craft queen, especially when it comes to crafting my family history. The last day of RootsTech, I had to leave early. I didn't get to your last class, which I had waited so long for. Do you have a podcast of the steps for creating the crafts that you make with your family history? I see the instructions in the syllabus, but I wanted to watch you in action. P.S. Thanks so much for your signed book on finding family history through newspapers. I can't wait to get started. Marlene. Well, yes, Marlene, I have several videos on my Genealogy Gems YouTube channel, totally free. Let me get you these resources. We've got well, first of all, one of the projects I didn't talk about in that class, which was inspiring ways to captivate the non-genealogist in your life. And I provided some low-tech and some high-tech different types of projects that you could do to take the information that you're getting on your family and really tell stories and really intrigue those non-genealogists in your family to really value their family history. So the first project you'll find there at the Genealogy Gems YouTube channel. It's at youtube.com/genealogygems, and you spell it out, Y-O-U, tube.com. It's the Family History Christmas Stocking Project. It's a 2-part series. And just like with Martha Stewart, you sit there and you watch me go step by step and create this. Now, I'm not a quilter. My mom is a quilter, but I do enjoy kind of lap work, little hand projects that you can do sitting there. And so this is a Christmas stocking that you do in a crazy quilting pattern, and it really pays tribute to all of the women in my family history. And then I also have one project that I did talk about in the class, which is the Family History Christmas Wreath. And that's a 4-part video series that you can watch at YouTube at our Genealogy Gems channel for free. And so I'll have links to each part in the show notes page so that you can get to them very easily. But when you go to the Genealogy Gems YouTube channel, again, youtube.com/genealogygems, look over, I think they keep moving things around, but I think it's in the right-hand column. You'll find playlists, and one of the playlists is a group of craft projects. So anytime I have that type of video, it's going to go in that playlist. And of course, the best way to keep abreast of what we're putting on the YouTube channel is just to click the subscribe button when you get there. And that way it will email you if I post a new video, so you'll know about it first thing. And of course, several of the projects that we discussed in class are also featured in my very first book, which was called Genealogy Gems Ultimate Research Strategies. And that's available at the lulu.com website where we have our store. But all you have to do is go to genealogygems.com, click store, and you can follow the links to get over to lulu.com. And you'll find Genealogy Gems Ultimate Research Strategies. There's several more projects in there as well if you like the crafty stuff. I know I do. All right. Let's see here. Well, Wesley from Clovis, California, he writes, on the first day of RootsTech, I told you that if I could still walk and talk by your session, I would be there. And I was, though very fatigued. It was strenuous, wasn't it, Wesley? I mean, there was so much going on, and it was huge. He says, so I headed straight for your table, and I bought the whole lot of books and videos that you had. Since, while it was a bit chickish, he's referring to me talking in that inspiring ways to captivate the non-genealogist. I was talking about that some of these projects you might think are for chicks, chickish, but the whole concept, and some people didn't totally get that. But my idea was, look, do what you do best, what you love to do. And in my case, I was showing craft projects that are kind of up my alley. But the whole idea is get your family history stories into whatever kind of projects speak to your talents and your interests and share them with other people. That's the whole idea. So he says, even though it was a bit chickish, your ideas and your deep pursuit of how to do things really impressed me. Thank you, Wesley. You got it. That was what I was trying to convey, was that it's all about getting the stories out in a way that is meaningful for you and for other people in your family. He says, this meant that I did not stay and tell you about something that I have done in the past, because he was tired. I know, it was a long day. He says, which I made a decision at your session to do in a different way in the future. What I did in the past was to take all the photos of all the descendants of my mother and stepfather and use photo collage software to make portraits of them. They liked this so much they printed them out and they framed them. What I decided to do differently in the future is to gather all the photos that I can find of the ancestors of my children and my grandchildren and make photo collage portraits of each of them from their ancestors' photos. That is a neat idea. I love that, Wesley. Great idea. And see, you're really seizing the idea here, which is something that you're already interested in doing, like the photo collages, and then how do we use that as a tool to tell our family history? Neat idea. And finally, Joan from Colorado wrote in to say, thank you so much for your talk at RootsTech on Saturday. I had let my blog slip into an occasional post, but you have fired me up again. Good. She says her blog address is Midwest Ancestry. Okay, so it's Midwest, ANCESTREE, as in tree, .blogspot.com. In this morning's Denver Post, the headline was, Grave Situation, Dirt on Trinidad Cemetery. It is a very in-depth full-page article on the corruption on the cemetery board in Trinidad, Colorado. It is being continued tomorrow. I have written to the reporter, Karen Crumey, and asked if I could link to her article. I also asked if she could provide a checklist for us normal, non-investigative reporters to check out our local cemetery associations. And then I thought, wow, Lisa could interview her and even get to a bigger audience. How many times do we go to cemeteries and we find them abandoned or in disrepair? And how many times in small towns are we told the records are lost for the cemetery, yet they still keep burying people there? This would be a wonderful exercise for us to do as genealogists. It's just a shame that people take advantage of the dead. I downloaded iTunes and will start catching up on your podcasts. Thank you again. Well, that is a great idea, Joan. I will see if I can't track that down, maybe talk with Karen and learn more about that situation. That great idea. You know, I just love getting all of your emails and sharing them here on the show, and I've got more for you. They're over in the mailbox.
From my old hometown, one with some jokes from my old pal Jim Brown. Bring me a letter from that girl of mine, saying that she's longing for me all the time. Bring me a letter from my proud old dad, who knows that we are winning, and I bet he's glad. But more than any other, a line from my old mother. Bring me a letter from my hometown.
Okay, well, we've covered some emails that I've received about RootsTech in particular, but here in the mailbox, I've got a few more emails for you. Let's see here. I am so excited, actually, to share this first one with you because one of you gems out there wrote in and you solved another family history mystery for me. Okay, so here's the email. This is from Jean. Hi, Lisa. I love your podcast, but I'm still catching up. In August, I decided to listen to your current podcast as you issue them while still working my way through all your past podcasts. I'm at number 59, and I laugh to listen to you celebrate and sound surprised that you reached a second anniversary when I know that you've made it to 5 now. That's true. We just actually celebrated our 5-year anniversary. It was during RootsTech, as a matter of fact, in February of 2012. She says, back in 2009, you ran a series of Name That Tune challenges, which I absolutely loved. I think I have old-time music in my DNA. It took me a day to recognize the Missouri Waltz. I knew the Darktown Strutter's Ball right away. When I was little, I named my doll Honey and always thought of those first lines, "I'll be down to get you in a taxi, honey." I knew I'll see you in my dreams. Don't know if you're old enough to recall Sing Along with Mitch when it was on TV, but we had all Mitch Miller's sing-along albums, and I'll See You in My Dreams was among them. Okay, so that brings me to the reason for this email. In episode 56, you celebrated I'll See You in My Dreams, and then you played a brief 30 seconds of another tune, and it was a violin instrumental. Well, as I said, I've listened up to 59, and I've never heard the result for that last tune. I think it may be Thine Alone by Victor Herbert. It was from the operetta Eileen. Herbert was born in Ireland and immigrated to America. His more famous songs include Ah, Sweet Mystery of Life and The Joy of the Toys from Babes in Toyland, but he seemed to have written hundreds of songs. You had a loyal listener named Jeannie who called you with the names of the first 4 songs, and I laughed at the similarity in our names. But anyway, I'm going crazy. Did anyone else ever recognize that song? If you go to iTunes, there is a good instrumental version of Thine Alone on the album The Music of Victor Herbert and Sigmund Romberg, performed by George Melcrino. It's a lovely song. I can't tell you how many wonderful memories those songs gave me. Yes, I'm working on my family history, and I really enjoy all your podcasts, videos, blogs, and advice. I did finish your Family History Genealogy Made Easy podcast series. Got to get to work on the Family Tree Magazine podcast, too. Thank you so much for all you do, Jean. Well, Jean, no one ever did identify that song until now. I totally agree. After listening to Thine Alone on iTunes, that's the song. It's got to be the song. I am so glad that you emailed me about it. In fact, I was just talking about that Name That Tune series that we did, and I was talking about the old reel-to-reel tape that started the whole thing that I had gotten from a cousin. It's of a Grandma and Grandpa Cooke, and they were playing the music, and I was talking about that in Genealogy Blogs and Podcast 101, of course, at RootsTech. So it's just amazing to me. You know, you put it out there, and it might be a year or two, but things come back around, and I am so glad that you got in touch with me. Fantastic. Mystery solved. And longtime listener and podcast gem Sue shares the results of handwriting analysis done by my friend Paula Sassy. She wrote in, she says, I'm a longtime listener, and I always enjoy your podcasts. I wanted to send you this email with my blog because I linked to your website in it. And I also just wanted to tell you that I still remember how much I enjoyed your interview with Paula Sassy. Subsequently, I had Paula analyze the signatures and handwriting of several ancestors. So I'm sending you this email about one of her analysis. Thanks again for your podcast. And yes, Sue sent me the link to her blog post. It's called Robert Arbuckle Handwriting Analysis. So I'm going to have that for you in the show notes. You know, Paula is really amazing. She analyzed some of my ancestors' handwriting, and it was kind of spooky how right on target she was. And if you'd like to learn more about Paula and her handwriting analysis, head on over to paulasassy.com. And of course, you can read up and see Sue's experience with Paula's handwriting analysis. Okay, well, coming up right after this, we are going to be talking to Chris Vanderkoel, CEO of BrightSolid.
From my proud old dad, who knows that we are winning, and I'll bet he's glad. But more than any other, a line from my old mother. Bring me a letter from my hometown.
It's here, the new version 5 of the award-winning RootsMagic genealogy software. It makes researching, organizing, and sharing your family history easier and more enjoyable than ever. If you're looking to take the next step in your family history research and start recording your family tree in your own genealogy database, or if you've really been wanting to make a switch to a much more user-friendly program, then do what I did. I chose RootsMagic, and I'm really glad that I did. Throughout its 10-year history, RootsMagic has helped people research and share their family trees with innovative features like moving people from one file to another with your mouse, a source wizard to help you document your work, creating a shareable CD to give to family and friends, and running RootsMagic off of a USB flash drive when you're away from home. RootsMagic also received the award for easiest to sync from Family Search for their work in interfacing with that system. Really, what are you waiting for? Download your risk-free trial of RootsMagic 5 at rootsmagic.com. See why professionals and beginners alike choose RootsMagic at rootsmagic.com.
Here in the was becoming kind of the famous glass booth of the middle of the expo hall here at RootsTech 2012, and I'm back with an old friend, Chris Vanderkoel from BrightSolid. Welcome back to the show, Chris.
Hi, Lisa. It's wonderful to be here again.
And you are here sporting your 1940s hat because it's 1940s on the brain these days, isn't it?
Absolutely. BrightSolid, we're obsessed with the 1940 census. We are utterly delighted to be a partner in this amazing community project with Family Search and archives.com, and we're just so keyed up for April for the 1940 census come out, because as recently as this week, Lisa, we've just launched our US business. So we now have an office in Santa Monica, about 10 blocks from the beach, which is nice. We've got a team out here. We've recruited an amazing team, including, as I now refer to him, the Michael Jordan of genealogy, Josh Taylor, who's just knockout. I mean, he is the most connected individual in the US genealogy market, and it's a real privilege to have him on the team. And we launched our first site last week, which is censusrecords.com, which is an amazing new site. The best value entry point for census search for entering your genealogy in the US. So it's pay as you go. So effectively you can buy as little as $7.95 to buy some credits, and then just use them as you need them. So you don't have to pay for a year, 6 months, whatever. You just you use them, and it's really simple, easy to use, and we think it's going to attract a lot of new people into the genealogy market.
And that is a model, a subscription model that we haven't seen as much here in the US, but we've seen it more with those of us who research our UK records. And I can really see some advantages. How do you think that the US market's going to respond to the pay-as-you-go type model?
Well, I think it's one of a number of ways that one can pay for a service like a genealogy service. And it was amazing to us when we researched the market that nobody had ever done it before.
Right.
So we just said, look, there's an opening. Let's put a really simple, great search, make it really easy to use. The expertise that we have from doing things like Scotland's People, and boom, it's there. So we hope there's going to be a really good response. There may be a bit of an education period while people try to understand it, but the response we've had already has been amazing. So people who've said, well, do you know, I let my big subscription lapse because I wasn't using it enough. Whereas this, I can spend $8 and just do a little bit when I feel like it, and then leave it for a while. So I think the market's going to respond well. And that's just our first product, Lisa. I mean, we're already announced today that findmypast.com is going to come to the US.
Wonderful.
And that's going to be the definitive site. If you have, in the first years, if you have family from come out of the UK or Ireland, but you start your research in the US, it's going to be a perfect entry point, because all our UK data will be available through the site, as well as all our US data too.
So it's going to be, in a way, duplicating what's on the UK site, but it's taking into account that Americans are starting from the US first and have to make their way back.
Exactly. And equally, that world collection of data will be available to customers in the UK who, inevitably, when they go back, they have some parts of the family who've emigrated to the US, so they want to trace them into the US at the turn of the century, things like that. So it works for everyone. And with having a .ie, an Irish site, and a .com.au, an Australian site, everybody starts to benefit around the world. So we're really excited for that for 2012.
And I think some subscribers, some people who are out there using record sites wonder, am I getting something different because there's a UK version or an Australian version, or am I getting less? Give them the reassurance of the fact that getting the experience from the American site, if you are in America, makes sense.
When findmypast.com launches, the world collection that's in there will be all the UK data in the same. So it's not going to be redacted in any different way. It'll be the pure data, the experience you would have if you logged onto the amazing Find My Past experience. And in addition to that, Lisa, we're also bringing the amazing British newspaper archive, which was our big launch this year. Yes. We're bringing that into Find My Past and other sites, so you can actually do an add-on to your subscription and have all the newspaper data at your fingertips. And as search develops, we're going to be able to let you cross-search as you're looking into a vital record. We'll cross-search into the newspapers automatically and see if we can find a story or a linked piece of information. I think that's going to be pretty transformational. Everybody who's tried the product just loves it.
Well, it's music to my ears, because yesterday I published my brand new book, which is How to Find Your Family History in Newspapers. Certainly included that site, and it came out of the idea that people were just saying, everybody keeps saying go check newspapers, and it's just a rat's nest of information and data. And I love the fact that I hear you saying that we're going to start to recognize newspapers as an important record and start thinking about integration, because that's the key.
100%. I mean, almost the most important reason that we went in and did this 10-year deal with the British Library was to integrate that data into our family history sites. The standalone site will do really well. I mean, there's amazing stories in there. It's such a fun thing to use.
Spend hours.
Absolutely. You lose days before you know it. But more importantly to us is, as our search technology improves and gets more sophisticated, just automatically starting to give you suggestions and research areas in that newspaper collection. And remember as well, this is early days for us. We've got almost 4 million pages online now, but we will hopefully get closer to 40 million before too long. And actually, if we work out ways to accelerate, I'd like us to go even further. So once the volume goes up as well, then people's chances of actually finding things are going to be increased, multiply.
Absolutely. Are you an overachiever? I think about what we talked about last year, and I think about how much has happened, and you have as much or more energy today talking about this than you did a year ago. What is going on?
Well, we're just having a blast. I mean, it's
you look like you're having a blast.
Yeah, we really are. I mean, we've hired a whole bunch of new people. We've brought them into the team. We're lots of excitement around. We're just about to move into our new headquarters for the publishing business in London. We bought an old church, and it's just awesome. So on those fronts, we're just having a great time. But in addition to that, we're really working hard to develop these product lines, and things like Friends Reunited, which is our social network in the UK. That's going to be completely redesigned and relaunched this year, and it'll make a lot of sense to family historians why history of your friends and history of your family may have some kind of relationship. We think they do, so we're doing that as well. And there's a few other things we've got up our sleeve. I mean, the other really exciting one, and I can say quite clearly that it was really the marketing team at brightsolid that led this, so I can't take too much credit for it, but we'll launch our own television series in the UK this year.
Yes, tell us about that.
Well, that's just been utterly wonderful. It's called Find My Past, which was a first in the UK. Nobody's ever been able to have a television series called after a brand before. The law changed in 2011, so we were the first company in the world to take advantage of it.
Okay.
So all the big brands missed the opportunity. We went straight in, and we have 10 one-hour episodes of the show called Find My Past. So it takes the idea, some TV shows might think it's kind of cool to take a celebrity and find a reasonably interesting story in the family history. We think it's even cooler to take an amazing event in history and find 3 living relatives today who know nothing about the relationship to it and help them trace their family history back and find out their core connection to something amazing. So we did stories like the Titanic, we did Mutiny on the Bounty, we did Jack the Ripper, which was amazing. We found a lady who was related to one of his victims, and she didn't realise when she was...
Now wait, let me get this. You're going to talk to average, everyday people? We don't have to have 3 movies under our belt before we can be on the show?
Absolutely not. In fact, we wouldn't...
People have been begging for that. They're saying, it's us, all of us doing it. How come we can't be interesting? What a fantastic spin. Let the event and the history be the exciting star.
Well, absolutely. And if you think about some of the shows that you've seen, some of them are amazing, but some of them you kind of think, well, was it really that interesting a story? Somebody had a bit of a hard time in the family. Hey, all of our, most of our ancestors had a bit of a hard time, and we have too. But it's when you find, Captain Bligh's, great, I think it was a great granddaughter, and I can't remember the exact relationship. It was Captain Bligh's descendant, Fletcher Christian's descendant, the descendant of the second mate of the Bounty, and you find out that hundreds of years later you put them in a room and they've inherited the characteristics. They start having an argument about whose fault it was in the first place. This is family history really brought to life. So it's been a huge success in the UK. We're hoping to try and make it available online so that some of our friends in the US and our customers can see it, because it's just wonderful. And then who knows? Maybe that show the British show will end up getting a second run in the US somewhere, or even now that we have a US business. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could do a US version? Because the stories are great. And, ones around things like the Second World War. We did the Battle of Britain, D-Day. We did Dunkirk. We did stories around the suffragettes.
But what's wonderful about that is you don't have to worry about the fact that the individual is a star and that star is known. Because if people go to, say, Who Do You Think You Are, and they look at those, we don't recognize those people as much in the U.S. But you're talking about times in history that are stars to all of us, that are memorable, and it seems like it'd be very translatable. And boy, do we get frustrated when we go to the BBC and we can't stream their shows.
Yeah.
So Yeah, that's one vote from me if you make it possible here.
Well, I hope you get a chance to see the show before too long, and it's also the channel that it's on. It'll repeat a lot in the next year. So if you're in the UK at all, it's on the Yesterday channel, and it's normally on every week at some point.
Wonderful. Well, I'll be there next week, or next month. So I'm going to check that out. Is it running right now?
Yeah, it's running right now.
And I have to say, okay, if we gave an award for the best booth here, you guys are really up there. I walked in and I was blown away. Your graphics are phenomenal. How did you put this together?
I think we really pride ourselves in trying to be a bit different and creative, and we embraced the whole 1940 thing. We've got some amazing 1940 images. We're all dressed up in kind of 1940s clothes, and we kind of find it a bit strange that other people just maybe look the same as they've looked for every year we've ever seen them in the past 5 years.
Does that surprise you? Because you think of Americans as being the more flamboyant ones, but when I go to Who Do You Think You Are in London, they have on the kilts, they've got the phone booths, they've got a lot of entertainment value going on, and here it's a little more low-key.
Well, I think this is all about, to me, the transition to what the 21st genealogy company is going to be about. It's going to be about storytelling, and if you're going to be about storytelling, you need to engage people creatively. So we have amazing, wonderful designers. Some of the graphic style you're seeing today in our new headquarters, that's all over the place. So our new building is going to feel like
very inspiring.
It's amazing, really inspiring, and the stories behind every character you see, and you have to build that from every little element. The office that people work in when they come to the show, that's the personality of the business, and that will translate into our products. Quite simply, if we have a standard, bland, McDonald's-esque look to everything we do, that's probably what you're going to find in our product as well. And we don't really want to sell the Big Mac of genealogy. We want to give you, something really customised to your experience, and give you the colour and characterization in your story that's as unique as you are, not the same as everyone else.
So what will you be doing on your website to communicate the storytelling aspect? I mean, obviously there's the records, we got to get to those. Are you going to be putting in some tools and things that'll help us get to the story?
That's absolutely our goal. Our goal is to try and bring the story to be more central to the process of working in genealogy. A site like Find My Past can be a bit different because it is the expert site, and we want to really differentiate it. So we're going to give amazing research tools, better search, deeper data. That's what we know our customers want in that market.
Right.
But when you come to it in the UK, a site like Genes Reunited, which we'll come up with a different brand because that brand's not going to work in the US, but that's it, which is a far more social storytelling experience. That's all going to be about the story. And now, you talked about the volume of stuff we've always got on. In the Skunk Works, in the back, we've got new ideas which are really far more just story-led, and they probably won't appeal to the real expert genealogist. They'll say, well, why would I bother? I've already got that stuff. I know how to do it. Well, the fact is, 90+% of the people out there don't know how to do it. So we're going to do that, and do that in spades. And then tomorrow, I'm giving a talk here on gamification, which has always been a bit of a buzzword and can be very badly used. But I think you probably remember, Lisa, my own background. I'm from the video games industry. I still have a video games company. We're doing an amazing game called Minecraft at the moment on the Xbox, which we're having a blast with outside genealogy. And some of those skills that we have, and the teams and the amazing talent, we're going to start to see how they can really do something exciting in genealogy. And I actually think if we get that right, kids will love it, expert genealogists will love it too, because it's going to, at the heart of it, be about the thing that they love, just presented in a different way.
Well, and the truth is, if you're an expert and you have all the most pristine data and sources in the world, if the next generation doesn't get it and doesn't know what the story is, to them that's binders and boxes, and that could end up in the garbage dump when you're long gone. And to me, that is like shooting ourselves in the foot.
100%. I mean everything. The pristine source, the core research, I think it's amazing, and we want to give people the right level of repository and security, so that Actually, one of the things I believe, just to sit on that point for a second, is if you have done amazing research, maybe your family, your immediate family doesn't quite value it in the next generation,
Right.
but that doesn't mean 2-3 generations down or a slight branch to the side won't absolutely love it. So we want to really think about how that legacy thing builds. But putting that aside, you're absolutely right. If you want to really guarantee that your family will absorb all the work you've done, then tell the story in an amazing way. You'll find, and that's a real challenge, but it's a challenge that with the right technology, with the right media, with the design skills we've got, we can help even people who feel, no, that's not for me, I'm great at the records, I'm terrible at telling the story. We're going to try and give you a way to help you do that.
Well, I have to say, I get the impression that you're going to give some big players in this market a run for their money. And it seems to me that what you're really saying is it's still wide open. This is not a lockdown game by any means.
No, I mean, we appreciate, we're not even a minnow in the US market, we're a microbe, we're tiny, we're nothing. But we know from our experience in the UK, we're a big player. We're as big, and on some people's measures, slightly bigger than anyone else in the UK. So we know what it feels like to be, to be there.
And how to do it.
And how to do it. And actually, from our point of view, we're going to be very cautious, as we have been, careful. Census records is a nice, easy way in to make contact with our new customers and find out what they want. We're going to listen to those customers. But then when we get it right, and when we know we've got product and people are really responding to it, we've got the depth and the capability to say, okay, now it's time to really push resource behind it. So we're not going to hurry. We're not going to say it's going to be this month, next year. But when the time's right, we'll act and build the business. And right now, we're just having fun meeting all these new customers and giving them something they don't get anywhere else.
Yeah. Now, before I let you go, the one practical question going through my mind that I think a listener might have as well is, are you going to re-digitize the entire U.S. Census? How does that happen in a practical way that you can manage to bring that to a site like censusrecords.com?
Well, the first thing we did is partner with Family Search. Okay. So they'd done a fresh set of indices. So they're the indices that we have on our site. And then we have our own copy of the images. So the partnership with Family Search has been tremendous for us. And it's gone in both directions. We've helped them with a load of stuff. We give them good value back for the data that they give us. So we can kind of, Family Search is not for profit, so they're not interested in money, which is fine by me, but they are interested in data. Yeah. So I'm quite happy to trade data because we invest millions in data. We probably don't invest quite as much as they do, but we're up there. We're really very UK-centric at the moment, but now starting to build a bit US. But we're spending multiple millions every year, whether it be the library, whether it be redoing all the UK birth, marriage and deaths records, the new prison records we've got coming, which are amazing, the bad boys records we call them. If you find an ancestor there, you'll find absolute gold dust.
We have a Cooke back there in 1850 who hit the prison system. So
in the UK?
Oh yeah.
You'll find him in this, and when you find the record, I'm assuming it's a man. Yeah. When you find the record, you'll be blown away by how much detail is in here.
Oh, exciting!
It's good.
Okay, and the final question is, Chris, what do you do in your spare time? Do you have spare time?
I like to, in the summer especially, I like to cycle. So I've got a road bike, so I go and do kind of 80, 100 mile runs on my bike. If I'm very, very lucky, every now and again in the winter I'll get to do a bit of skiing, but mostly it's spending time with my family. We've got 3 young children, and they're amazing. And sometimes I play in a band as well. And that's
there you go. What instrument?
Piano and keyboards.
Oh, that's my bailiwick too. Excellent. I knew we had something in common. Okay, thank you so much. I have to brace myself, and when we get together next year to find out what you're doing. Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you, Lisa. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and good luck for this year too.
Profile America, Saturday, March 10th. Paper money as we know it was first issued in the U.S. on this date 150 years ago in 1862. Alexander Hamilton was pictured on the $5 bill, Abraham Lincoln on the 10, and the figure of liberty on the 20. These first banknotes were used to finance the Civil War. At the same time, Lincoln's counterpart, Jefferson Davis, appeared on the Confederate States' $5 bill. Now, the currency circulating in America is valued at more than $1.8 trillion. We like so-called plastic money as well. About 3/4 of U.S. families have credit cards, charge $300 each month, and have a median balance of $3,000. You can find more facts about America from the U.S. Census Bureau online at census.gov.
Thanks so much for joining me for Genealogy Gems podcast episode number 128. If you have any questions or comments, please do write me at genealogygemspodcast@gmail.com, or you can leave a voicemail on the voicemail line 925-272-4021. I am heading down to Phoenix, Arizona to the Family History Society of Arizona, putting on an all-day seminar, March 10th, 2012. Hope to see many of you there. We're going to do all kinds of fun topics. I'm really looking forward to that. And certainly, if your society is looking for somebody to come in and do some presentations and get some genealogy gems, I'd be happy to join you all. So you can always contact me. Just head over to genealogygems.com, click seminars, and you'll find all kinds of information there that you need. Class topics, how to get in touch with me, all that good stuff. And my upcoming schedule. So I hope to see many of you on the road. Until then, thank you so much for listening, friend. I'll talk to you soon.